This Lutcher State Championship preview is presented by St. James Parish Hospital. First American Investments. The road to retirement starts here. And by Sid Berthelot for Sheriff. Experienced, prepared, and committed.
It's Lutcher Bulldog fever, not only here at St. James Parish Hospital, but all over the River Parishes, as Lutcher is one of 3 River Parish teams preparing for a state championship appearance. From the Therapy Center at St. James Parish Hospital, welcome to the Lutcher State Championship preview show, and we're excited to be here, Coach. Frank Smith. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Coach Tim Detillier, and with all the excitement afoot, it's time to get everybody set for the big game on Saturday. Looking forward to it, Coach.
Well, you're right. You know, there's a lot of excitement in town. I hadn't felt that in a while, and it's a good feeling.
Well, joining us to lead off our show as we get things underway is a gentleman making his 3rd appearance in the Dome as a head coach, Coach Dwain Jenkins. And Coach, you know, as all the momentum builds as we get down here, as the momentum builds and we get ready to play, you know, you start to look forward to what's ahead. But before we discuss what's ahead, let's take a step back and look at what brought us here. Tell us a little bit about the road to the playoffs and what you've seen from this team.
Well, really, this team just kind of answered to every call, whether it was through the regular season, going all the way back to week 2. We talked about it. It was a heartbreaking loss at St. Charles, and that's really where this road started. We talked to the kids right after the game, and we mentioned the state championship and playing for a state championship after we lost to St. Charles. We told them they had 2 choices. You can either hang your head and pout about losing the game the way that we lost it, or you can learn from it and play on December 10th at noon. And that's something that we've talked about ever since. When the playoffs got here, we think we had one of the toughest draws that you can get in the playoffs. We played a really talented Walsman team that was tested in a tough district in the first round, and followed that up with a St. Martinville team that put us out last year in the quarters, who's one of the most talented football teams in the state. Went on the road to Lakeshore and had to deal with a light situation there. And then in the semifinals, went to the number 2 seed, the only team that was undefeated in the bracket, and took on a strong West Feliciana team on the road to punch our ticket to the Superdome.
Yes, sir.
Coach, I agree with what you're saying, and I thought the bottom half of the brackets had a lot more quality teams than the top. But anyway, you fixing to make our 9th attempt here at the Dome. What does that say about the program at Lutcher?
Well, it tells you that you got a lot of history. It's one of those things that goes back. I think it's not something that you can run from. It's something that our kids embrace. It's something that our kids know about. It's something our kids talk about. It pops up every once in a while into a pregame speech. I can remember back as an assistant, I saw equipment trailer in the Florida Superdome, and it had runner-ups on it, and we talked about that before a state championship game. Well, it happened again last week, right before the game. There was a big sign behind us that had the number of quarterfinal appearances and a number of district championships and a number of state runner-ups. And we told our kids, look, guys, no matter what happens in this game, they're about to put something up on that billboard. And if you want to put something up in Lutcher, you got to win in December in the Superdome. So our kids know what it takes to be great. They understand what it's like to play in a program at Lutcher, and they understand the responsibility they have to conduct themselves in the right way.
Okay. Speaking of the Superdome, Coach, the state championship game has you know, the last few years been at other venues. It's back in the Dome, where it belongs this year. Why is that building so important? What does it mean to your team to play in the Dome?
Well, I just think for all high school kids, it's that opportunity to play in a place where Super Bowls are played, where national championships are played. They see it, it's the biggest stage in football. And for kids in Louisiana to have the opportunity to play in the Superdome, it's special. And I think sometimes the adults, we try to diminish how special it is to play in the Superdome because it's a headache for coaches. It's a headache for the adults that have to put that thing on. But for a kid, you don't hear people talking about, let's go play at Cajun Field. I want to grow up and go play at Northwestern State. And when they're talking about setting goals for football teams in Louisiana, it's about playing in the Dome. And it's where the state championship should be. The money shouldn't be the object or the end-all, be-all when it comes to being there. It's a great opportunity for kids to get to play on the biggest stage in sports.
I agree with all that, Coach. And I used to look forward to, hey, let's go practice in the dome. And this year you can't. You can't practice in the dome, but you came up with a pretty good plan. Let me hear it.
Well, this plan actually goes back some time. Not a lot of people realize that we took this team to the Superdome in August to go watch the Saints practice. And it was something that we did with Jarvis Landry. He had reached out to us. And we wanted to set the stage that wasn't going to be our only trip to New Orleans and to the Superdome. So we went and watched the Saints practice in August, got to watch a practice. And when I started hearing rumors that they were cutting out the practice and picture day at the Superdome, we started looking for alternative plans, ways to get our kids a memory that they can build for this week. So again, we reached out to Jarvis Landry. Friday, we'll be taking the kids to practice at the Saints practice facility. We'll get our last practice of the year done at the home of the New Orleans Saints. And then once we get finished with that, we'll get dressed. We'll ride over to the Superdome. We'll take our pictures under the dome just like teams have done in the past. We'll watch the first half of the Division II select game between Lafayette Christian and St. Thomas More so our kids can see what that atmosphere will be like 24 hours later. And then once we finish watching a half of that game, we'll step out of the Superdome. We'll go to the steps of Champion Square and take our first team picture this year.
So, Coach, anything but a routine week leading up to it. I know coaches are so big on schedule and routine. So with all the other things going on, with the distractions, with preview shows and pep rallies, how do you get the kids to keep the focus on, hey, all those things are great, but we're in it for Saturday morning at noon?
Well, I think a lot of times you try to keep everybody's schedule as close to as regular as possible. And that's what we did for 4 days. I've tried to allow the coaches to keep their schedules the same, relying on our coaching staff to do the job that they do week in and week out, which is getting our kids prepared, and put all those extra burdens on me. And all the media appearances, put all of those things on me. And fortunately, I've been through it a few times already as a head coach, so I kind of knew what was coming up. Also great to have a coach's wife who understands what that looks like and understands that film's going to take place sometimes between 8 and 10 o'clock at night instead of during the day when I'm normally at work. So a lot of those things go into it, but really, we've been able to keep Monday through Thursday exactly the same for our kids. And then we'll have Friday, which is kind of an extra day of practice, but it gives them opportunity to make that memory about what this week's about. But also gives them opportunity maybe to walk into the dome, walk through the floor, see where the locker room is, get some of those question marks and jitters. That way when we show up Saturday morning, it's game time, it's time to play.
Well, great, Coach. Well, that sets the stage for us just a little bit further in the show. We'll get more into the X's and O's of things, but we'll step away and take a break. And when we return, we'll be joined by a few of the players that played such a key role on this road to the Super Bowl.
My name is Ryan Roussel. I'm a staff physical therapist here at St. James Parish Hospital Therapy Center. Some people want to be able to run a marathon, and some people just want to be able to do their housework without pain. We handle everything in between those two things. I've been a PT for about 11 years now. I originally got into physical therapy because I was a football player. I got injured while playing football, and throughout my rehab process, I kind of figured out that I had a passion for helping people achieve their goals. A really special feeling, I guess, to be able to take what I've learned throughout the years and kind of give back to the community in which I grew up in to help people that I know, that I've been knowing, meet their goals and get back to their life. So I played for Lutcher High School in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it's a really special place to play football. It's a big-time football town. They have some good athletes that come out of this region, and I'm excited about Lutcher's opportunity to add a 9th state title to our collection.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Therapy Center at St. James Parish Hospital. And Coach and I now, we're joined by the guys who made it happen. It's good to talk to coaches, but now we get the guys who've gone out in the field and made things happen throughout the season. We're joined by senior quarterback Dwain Winfield and senior wide receiver Carson LeBlanc. First, let's start with lunch. You've been in this program and a part of the offense for 4 years, so you've seen a lot of changes over those 4 years. What makes this team in this year's squad different than some of the teams you've been a part of in the past?
This squad is definitely special. Like, everyone's part of a big family. We all come to practice every day and want to practice and like want to get better every day, and that's pretty special.
Okay.
You know, you mentioned family, and I know your family extremely well, especially your grandfather, Euler. I really miss him. He was a tremendous help to me. But speaking of your family, all the success you've had, what has that meant to your family?
It's like pretty special to know like my grandfather was like a great round Lutcher. Like one day under the stadium, it had like the little storage space. I saw his name on like a track hurdle, I think, and that was pretty special to see.
He was always there.
Yeah.
And while family is the topic, we go to Carson LeBlanc, and you know, in many families in this area, sometimes you have that split allegiances where parents may have gone to one school, brothers and sisters at another school. What has it meant to you to be a member of the Bulldog family while other members of your family might be in school elsewhere?
It means a lot. Last year, my brothers and cousins, and they went to the championship and they took a dub. And ever since then, I felt something like I needed to do that. And I'm finally here, and it feels great.
I have a question for him. I mean, I know you receive, got good hands and all that, but we always talk every game about the kicking, how successful we are. We never talk about the holder. How long have you been holding, and did you want to do it, or you didn't have anybody, or you tried? How did you become the holder?
When I was a sophomore, one day Coach Corey was like, "Hey, you ever thought about holding?" And I was like, "No, I mean I tried it out and just been with me ever since."
Well, you've done a great job when you look at how high a percentage of PATs have been converted this year. That doesn't happen without a flawless operation from snap to hold to kick. So that's been a big part of the success this year. As we get closer and closer to game day, okay, there's a fine line between excitement and nerves. Which one's winning out right now? Is it more excitement? Is it more nerves? How do we handle those things?
Right now, it's trying to like stay normal as possible. It got a lot of excitement, but like nervous because like we've never been here. But I'm pretty sure like when we get on that stage and start playing, like all the jitter's gonna go away and it's gonna get back normal.
All right. You fought through some injuries during the course of this postseason. How we feeling? We ready for game time?
We've been ready. Yeah.
All right. Well, you hear that, North DeSoto? We've got a quarterback who's chomping at the bit and ready to go. So we'll step away for just a moment. We'll be back in just a few, and we'll be joined by the Bulldog offensive line.
1, 2, 3.
Wealth accumulation during your working years, independence in retirement, and the efficient transfer of wealth to loved ones. All key goals that we can help you with at First American Investments. The road to retirement starts here. Sid Berthelot for sheriff, experienced, prepared, and committed. A proud member of the 1983 Lutcher State Championship team. Sid says best of luck to the Bulldogs and bring home number 9.
Welcome back, everyone, to St. James Parish Hospital as we get set to continue with our Lutcher State Championship preview show. I'm joined now by got to be the best-looking section of the team, I'd agree, right? The offensive line's here, ready to get things done on Saturday. We'll start off and let you guys introduce yourself.
Jordan Harris, Donovan Arbonite, Devin LeBlanc, Colin LaRock, Ben Clemo, Rashad Sterling.
Well, these gentlemen, as the season started, last year's squad, offensive line was a focal point of the team, and you know, a number of seniors off of that starting offensive line graduated, moved on, and so there were a lot of holes to fill. A lot of guys coming up and stepping into new roles for the team, and many of you guys, your first year as a starter. As the season began, did you guys as a unit feel you had a little bit of something to prove?
Yes, sir. We believe we had something to prove because a lot of people doubted us, doubted that we was going to be as explosive or as strong as the old O-line. We just wanted to come out and show that we was just as aggressive and just as into the game as them. Okay.
So throughout the course of the year, there have been a number of times where you guys have just really taken over games, you know, from the offensive line. I think back to a drive or two versus St. Francisville, and then especially in that key drive at the end of the West Feliciana game where it's 17 straight quarterback powers. Now, we know Lunch can run the ball, but that doesn't happen without an O-line taking control of things in the matter. Did you guys feel a little bit of momentum building right there? Does it feel that, hey, we have this, we're controlling the line, this is our ball game?
Yeah, definitely, because we were just pounding it on them the whole last quarter. They just couldn't stop us, and we just kept going over and over the same play, and they just couldn't stop us.
All right. Do we have a repeat performance of that in us for this week?
Yes, sir. It's the game plan. Just drive the ball down the field and score.
All right. You know, one of the great things about you guys is how versatile you've been. A few of you guys have been on both sides of the football, sometimes flip-flopping at different spots in the line. Is there any, you know, as you go to these new roles, is there anything that you guys can't handle? Can anybody handle any position in the O-line?
Yes, sir.
We'll figure it out as we go. All right. So here's a $1 million question, because anytime you're as a unit, I know there's friendly competitions that go on. So if you guys have a chance for $1 million, but you've got to protect a quarterback for 5 seconds without being touched, which one of you guys are you picking?
Me. Me. He'll get swiped and Olaine to the ground before he gets to you.
Well, either way, we'll go Dave. So that's a debate that will continue. We figured that was something that you guys will figure out. So I'll tell you who I think after the game on Saturday. So same question I asked to the other guys as we get closer and closer to game time. I'll go to you, Rashad, since you are one of the younger members of the offensive line as a sophomore. You know, there's excitement, there's nerves. You getting those good positive butterflies yet?
No, not yet. I'm still excited. It's the fans making it excited on the outside, but I try not to let that get to me.
Stay focused on the game and ready to play. All right, guys. Well, best of luck to you guys as we get ready and continue the good work, and we'll see how it comes out on Saturday. Good luck, fellas.
As a former Bulldog, it's awesome to be able to work with the new young athletes at Lutcher High School. So I just wanted to say good luck to the Dogs in the Dome.
And we're back, and now we're joined by two junior members of the Bulldog squad, Kai Brown, Brock Luke. Both of you guys, key parts of this Lutcher Bulldog Dingo defensive unit. You've been stingy all year, been tough on opponents, but North DeSoto is a different challenge. They're a strong team, strong passing unit. You guys are ready to step up and play? Are you ready for this game?
Yes, sir. I think we're all ready to step up and handle this challenge on a bigger stage.
Okay. Adjustments have been made. The same aggression you think you bring every game? Do you play a little bit differently in a state championship game, or do you let it all hang out there?
You can't think about it too much. You just got to go out and do it.
All right.
You know, I love to watch y'all play defense, and I talk about y'all physicality. Even Brock, I call you Mr. Utility all the time with y'all. But anyway, you all of a sudden you're on the offensive side, you know, running the ball. How do y'all feel about that? What did you think when they said, hey, you're going to run the ball?
I mean, we were both pretty excited. We've always talked about getting carries since our freshman year. We always wanted to go and do that, try to get in the end zone. And really, when it came down to it, when one of us was getting the ball, we'd try to argue over it to see who would be able to get it.
So y'all all angry runners.
That's right.
Whatever one makes it to the field first.
All right. Both of you guys were a part of the Lutcher Baseball State Championship team this spring. Played in that big setting, that pressure cooker, which is the state championship game. Are there any lessons that you can learn from being in that environment with so much on the line and help bring that to the game on Saturday?
Just enjoy the moment, but don't overthink it.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a football game. You just got to go out there and play.
All right. That's big words and a big environment right there. So the question I've asked everyone, I guess we have to skip. I was asking about nerves, but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of nerves from you two as you go. What does it mean to be on the floor of the Superdome for you all?
I mean, it's a special moment. Growing up in Lutcher, it's been every athlete's dream to play on a big stage like that. So it really is a blessing to be able to play on a stage like that.
Okay. All right. Well, short and to the point. I like that. No nonsense, just like the way you guys play defense. So we look forward to seeing you guys in action on Saturday, and best of luck to you both, gentlemen.
Sid Berthelot for sheriff. Experienced, prepared, and committed. a proud member of the 1983 Lutcher State Championship team. Sid says best of luck to the Bulldogs and bring home number 9. Wealth accumulation during your working years, independence in retirement, and the efficient transfer of wealth to loved ones. All key goals that we can help you with at First American Investments. The road to retirement starts here.
Welcome back, everyone. The players getting rowdier and rowdier as the evening goes on here. We'd like to thank St. James Parish Hospital again. They've been a title sponsor for our VSN broadcast all year, so their support means quite a bit to us. So we'd like to thank you once again and for being our host here tonight as we bring you this broadcast from the Therapy Center at St. James Parish Hospital. We're joined now by get a little bit more X's and O's, getting things a little bit more. So we're joined by our coordinators. So first, defense coordinator, Coach Cade Worsham. Coach, North DeSoto comes in. It's a different look than a lot of the teams we've seen this postseason especially. What can Bulldog fans expect to see from the Griffins offense?
What you're going to see from North DeSoto is a fast offense. They call themselves the fastest offense in the nation, really. It's not so much the speed of the players, but the speed of their play. They'll get lined up as quickly as possible and snap the ball as quickly as possible to get as many possible plays in. You can see on film a lot of times they're getting a first down and they're snapping the ball before the box is ever set. So they're going to try to go really fast. They don't overcomplicate. They're a little bit different than Westville. Westville gave you a lot of different formations and different looks to run a couple plays. Well, they run a few plays. They run power, they run counter, they run some zone. But they're going to do it fast, and they're going to do it out of the same formations over and over again and try to get you off balance and not let you line up and make calls very quickly. So one of the things we're going to have to be able to adjust to this week, this is a little different, is just being able to get to the line and get set and ready for the set of the ball, because they will snap it as soon as possible.
For us to have success on the defensive side of the ball, what are some of the keys? What are the most important things you're emphasizing to your players this week?
Number one is making sure we're moving fast and getting set because of how fast. The next thing is being able to communicate. We've adjusted a way we're going to make some calls this week, hopefully, so we can get them in as fast as possible and get lined up. The second thing is going to be able to stop the run. They run the ball pretty well. They've really relied on that as they've gotten through the playoffs here, relying on their 2 running backs who are both 1,000-yard carriers. And then when they have opportunities, they like to take shots. They got 3 really good receivers. They got a sophomore, number 21, who's probably their biggest play threat, and they like to get him on a quick. They run the ball real fast, get a first down, get 5 or 6 yards, hurry up and line up, and throw a shot to number 21. So we got to make sure we can stop the run and make sure we can not give up the big plays, make them drive the ball and earn it.
Coach, I can't imagine them being faster than Tennessee, but if they're that fast, sometimes that affects the physicality of the defense, and I like our physicality. Will that have an effect on us?
The only way it will is if we're just not lined up and get set. As long as we line up and ready to go, the physicality should still be there. We've been working on it in practice, trying to get lined up as quickly as possible. We've picked up the pace of practice so they can get used to having to play a little bit shorter breath, more so than they normally are.
Yeah. Coach Corey Bourgeois, offensive coordinator, same question for you. What do we expect from the Griffins defense?
The biggest thing about them is the turnovers they got. I think it was 30-something by week 8. That's kind of incredible. They got a guy on the back end with 7 interceptions, another guy with 5. Their front, they're big. It's an odd front. They bring pressure sometimes. They mix up the coverages. But the biggest thing is them getting turnovers, and we just got to avoid that right now. They play fast. They mix fronts, they mix coverages, and they do a good job moving to the football. And they're playing with some confidence right now, which is probably the biggest thing for them.
If that clock ticks down to zeros and the Bulldogs have come out on the positive side of things, what does that mean? What happened during the game? What does it take for the Bulldogs to have success?
Well, we talked about this. Coach Jenkins talked about it with the team. It might not be the thing everybody wants to hear. We got to protect the football. We got to be able to take advantage of what they're trying to take away. And that's kind of been our thing all year. We kind of came up with a little slogan as offense, and it was being better together. And what I mean by that is I think our running backs learned that early. They were better when we had both of them. It didn't matter who started the game or who finished the game. They were complements of each other. And then I go back to our tight ends. At the beginning of the season, not many high school teams has the ability to put 2 tight ends on the field. And in the middle of the season, we kind of lost that. We lost one guy, and we gained him back. But being able to go empties and power football with the 2 tight ends kind of really made us better when we had them both together. And I'll talk about the offensive line, and that's the next part. Like, these guys knew we lost a lot of really experienced offensive linemen. And that group just got better and better every week, all year. And I'm so proud of those guys. And the coaches did a good job, Coach Bauer and Coach Forsythe. And I'll be ashamed not to mention them. But the offensive line has gotten better together, And then lastly, I'll talk about our receivers. And we always, Coach Schmidt and myself, always try to get the receiving group to be, a core, a group of people, not just one guy. But all our players are called after concepts, and you never know who's getting the ball. And those receivers been unselfish. They're better as a group, not just individual. And that's kind of been our motto. We talk about that pregame speeches all the time. We're better together. And I thought that went a long way. Just those guys buying in that and believing in that.
Coach, I can't agree with you more on that offensive line. I was so impressed, all year, but the St. Martinville game just sticks out in my mind so much. But everybody, if you're outside of Lutcher, if you don't, I go watch y'all practice and stuff, they know we can run the football. But I know, and we can throw the football.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that. I mean, because we still practice it every day. They might not see it in the game, but how do you feel if we have to go to the passing game this week?
Extremely comfortable. We practice it more than enough. We have periods in practice, routes on air. We have Pascal periods. It's dedicated time for that. And we've been doing it since 7:07 in the summer. So there's no doubt in my mind and that's been a thing for this offense. We kind of been able to morph to different things, and transform. All right, if they're taking away the run, we'll spread you out, we'll throw the football. If they're taking away the pass, all right, 2 tight ends, fullback, bringing those defensive guys, and just pound the ball right at you. So that's been our thing. And this week's been about just preparing, taking care of everything. We still practicing our 2-point plays. We still practicing our trick plays. Alarms, hurry up offense. As a coach, you try to check off every little box. You don't want to go into the dome just unprepared. So did you watch enough film? There's all those questions you try answering for yourself. And we had a good week of practice. And we'll be prepared to throw the football, be prepared to run the football. And whatever they're trying to take away, we're going to do the opposite. And they got to stop us doing that.
No doubt.
Well, an amen from coaches. He gives a go Dogs in the end of that. Well, definitely have the primary offense, the Dingo defensive unit. Both sides of the ball seem prepared, and we're excited and hope for the best on Saturday. Good luck to you both, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah!
Let's go.
Welcome back, everyone, to our final segment of the Lutcher State Championship Preview Show. We're joined again by Coach Jenkins, and we will use this section to get ready. Put a final wrap on things and go. But coming back from the break, we saw some highlights of trips to the Dome by the Bulldogs from the 2015 and 2016 state championship games, and great memories, I'm sure, for both of you gentlemen. But Coach, you're the one who has to carry some of those memories in with you and some of those lessons on Saturday. What's something you took away from that game, that experience?
Well, I really think that anytime you get that opportunity, you can kind of learn and grow from it. And I was just so fortunate to be part of so many trips as 3 trips as an assistant, and then got the opportunity to do it twice as a head coach. It kind of prepares you for this moment, to be able to prepare a team that doesn't have any experience going there. And that's been one of the things that I think we really relied on with the experience that we have. Not only me as a head coach, but all of the assistants on my staff have been there as players or coaches, and I think all of those things start to come in. But it's always, every time you get to take a trip to the Dome, it's special, and you normally remember the kids and their reaction to being in that environment. And I shared this with Coach Tim earlier this week. To me, when I think back at 2016, we had some great players, John Trey Kirkland, Eldontre Davis, that went on and got to play in college. Gregory Clayton still playing at LSU today. But to me, it's some of those guys who are the program guys, the guys who that's the last time they put on the purple and gold and the last time they played football at Lutcher High School. And it's just a passion that they play with and the energy that they play with and the emotions that they have, knowing that they're wrapping up their career on the biggest stage. And it's those faces and those memories that I remember the most.
We set the stage with your coordinators on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, but special teams, so many games come down to special teams. It's been a strength of this team all year.
It really has, and we made a big move this year with our special teams. We've had a guy who's basically the special teams coordinator every year that I've been a coach, and we kind of went away from that this year, and I think it's paid dividends. All of our assistant coaches kind of all took one of the special teams and kind of took ownership of it and made it their own. And, Coach Taylor handles the kickoff team, and they've been outstanding. A lot of people don't understand sometimes what we're doing, but that's by design. We're trying to mix it up. We don't want other teams to be able to prepare for it. Our kickoff return unit has been really good at times with Coach Carter leading that group. Coach Smith, we joke with him sometimes because he's got the punt team, and it's extremely important, but we don't use it a whole lot. But it can change the game, and this week is probably really important because North DeSoto has made so many plays on their return unit and block unit that's changed games. So that unit's going to be really special this week for us, that if we have to use the punt team, we've got to be solid. And then Coach Daigle handles the punt return, punt block team, and that group has really done a good job of forcing teams into some pretty bad punts throughout the year. So Coach Forsythe, Coach Bauer handle the extra point team, and then Coach Daigle handles our defensive extra point block and field goal block. But you can't mention our special teams without mentioning Trace Miette. Trace has kind of become his own star for us this year. He's got the single season record for the most extra points in a season. He's over 80 made extra points this year. And for a kid that never put on a helmet or played football before, that's pretty special.
And that's just only 3 misses, correct?
Correct.
Throughout the course of the season. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he had a streak of about 50-something straight made extra points.
Wow. Coach, throughout the community, we can start to feel momentum build, right? A little bit early in the season, you and I had some discussions after that first home playoff game or two. A little more empty seats than we expected, but as success comes, the momentum builds, and it's some jerseys, some old Lutcher shirts getting pulled out the closet haven't been worn this season. But Bulldog Nation kind of shows up, and you kind of feel that. What would title number 9 mean to this community?
Well, I think it's always going to be special. Everybody loves a winner, but I've pleaded all year long, that at quarterback club meetings and everything else, that we've had some great teams in the history of the school, but I don't know if we've ever had a team that's been more deserving than this group, that has battled the things that they've battled. You're talking about a senior class who had their sophomore years torn apart by COVID, their junior years ripped apart by hurricanes, and this is the only time in the last 3 years that they got to play a full season. And they've stood up and answered the call. And more importantly, I think the senior group, one of the things that I'm most proud of is in 2019, they were freshmen. And I didn't think we played Lutcher football to the standard that it needed to be played to. and you've seen them grow each and every year and continue to build on it. And they've earned and deserve this stage, and they earn and deserve this opportunity to play Saturday at noon.
Yeah. And that's what it all comes down to. That's where the rubber meets the road, and that's where we'll it all shake out on the turf under the bright lights of the Superdome. And it's the Division II non-select state championship game. Your Lutcher Bulldogs taking on the North DeSoto Griffins. Coach, we're excited. We've had a great time bringing you the action all year long on VSN. Remember, Bulldog fans, you'll have some post-game thoughts and a wrap-up show, as well as highlights from the game. That'll be on VSN via subscription, as well as on the VSN Facebook page in River Parish Football. So tune in, and those of you who aren't able to make it to the Dome, you'll get a taste of the action there. We'd like to thank VSN for their continued partnership with Lutcher Athletics. I know it means a lot to families who aren't out able to be in the stands all the time. But it's meant a lot to I think to the program. So, Coach, I'd like to thank you for being the sidekick all year long. I'd like to thank Coach Dwain Jenkins for joining us. We'd definitely like to give a thank you to Chris Blades, who has agreed to be our director all season next year for VSN. We'll talk to his wife about that after the show. But it's been a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to how things shake out on Saturday. Coach,
Go Dogs!
Go Dogs! Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
This Lutcher State Championship preview is presented by St. James Parish Hospital. First American Investments. The road to retirement starts here. And by Sid Berthelot for Sheriff. Experienced, prepared, and committed.